Hello and welcome to this week's episodes of The Calling. Follow your spirit all the way in. I'm your host, Homaya. Join me in this journey of self-awareness, soul frequencies, and spiritual revelations. Let's fly.
Blessing, beloved. Today, I want us to expand the perception of anchoring in spirit, because this is the foundation of your embodiment. It is the foundation of your next level in everything you do in life. I want us to really look what it means and what it feels and bring past life memories that I am 100% sure that you've experienced and future memories that you might not feel them, but you're already weaving them into full realization, into full manifestation. Being plugged into the socket, being one with spirit, feeling really profoundly connected to what divinity is inside of you, to the most intimate thing in your life, having this awakened connection is the most significant thing that makes you who you are and makes your life meaningful. I would say that the greatest mental diseases that we experience in life and in our culture currently are actually anchored in disconnection from source. So while you are listening to this episode, know that you can listen to it for yourself, for you to awaken your spirit even more, but listen to it also to be able to serve more of the people around you, your clients, your people, your family, without, having an answer, but having another state of awareness. We are living in an era where humanity is the most disconnected from source, from truth, than ever before. Just take a deep breath and get that, and awaken even more into that, because that means how you are important and how your job is important and what you are doing, the way that you are being in your life and the ripple effect that comes from your presence are meaningful and significant. The level of loneliness, the level of narcissism, the level of depression, the level of disconnection from self is so high because of us being more than ever disconnected from source as a collective. There's so much to say about that. Somehow, with the history of humanity, people gave away their connection to source, their connection to spirit. Even the perception that if I will name the name God, or even now when I say source, you might still perceive it as something external. Even when you look at the chakra system, the way that they are described, source is something that you're connected through your crown, and it's almost like external. While the word source is indicating that this is something internal. It is what you are made of. It's what we are made of. It's what all reality is made of. It's the source of the creation. It doesn't have location. It is in everything. It is one with everything. It is everything. And you are it. But as we are looking at reality, we are looking at what is being projected back to most of us, is that this strong connection to your spirit, to your signature, to your singularity, vanished away. And it is being given, so to say, to religion, to culture, to politics, to science. Now, the thing that we need to be awakened to is that it's not either or. It's not either we evolve or we stay connected to source. The joy in life, the beauty in life is that we have the possibility more and more and more as individual and then as a collective to be connected to source as we live our life, to be connected to source with culture, to be connected to source with prayers, to be connected to source with organizations, to be connected to source with the development of science, of wisdom, of literature, of everything. But it cannot eclipse. And that is something that we should look at. Now, here is what happened with the history. At a certain point in time, people requested from the prophets to have a king or a queen. Why we arrived even to that situation? As humanity, it is something to put a question mark on. But people arrived into a certain stage where they asked that there will be a king or a queen, that there will be an authority that will be a medium between the collective consciousness and the divine consciousness. There was a calling for that. There was a request for that. And this is, until now, the reason why the royal family, the kings and the queens, are actually ordained by the priests. Because they were chosen for their mediumistic power. They were chosen because of their psychic abilities, because of their intuition. And this is why there were always also type of orders and schools, and that it became a family. And there was a heritage upon heritage upon heritage, and a lineage, a spiritual downline lineage and upline lineage. The psychic people could be those medium that will be able to say to the rest of the people, well, they're going to be a flood. The weather is changing. We need to become aware because there's a storm coming. There is good spirit or bad spirit. We can say spirit not as we can translate it now, not as something that can harm you, but hey, become aware. That is the ripple effect of this action. That is the ripple effect of this behavior. Or become aware, this is a movement or emotion that is coming up from earth, that is coming from the sky, that is coming from the stars, from the constellations. That was the job of the kings and the queens. And this is why they had this clock, which had this type of a purple frequency. If you're listening, you know what is this frequency of purple. It's elevated frequency. It's in your psyche. It's your third eye. It's a combination of red and blue, the practicality, but the etheric, the unknown, that brings us, wow, this super strong purple frequency. This is why they were wearing gold, because they needed to be in the highest possible frequency. They needed to be connected. They needed to become a living antenna that connects to source and that can grasp in the most delicate way the information that is coming. Their accuracy was important. Their purity was important. Their perception, their ability to translate was important. Those were the kings and the queens, elevated spiritual people who dedicated their energy to become a medium between humanity to elevated frequency to the divine. Take a deep breath and acknowledge that if you are listening to it, then most likely you have something in your history that was connected to that. You know that. And a king or a queen were not something isolated. They had circles upon circles upon circles of human angels around them that gave consultations, that held the space together. We need to awaken to that history and the way that humanity and people treated with everything that happened with it. We can also look at other types of cultures that maybe didn't have this frequency of gold because it was not the relevant vocabulary to that culture. But they had other things, other practices. If someone would go through a spiritual awakening, if someone would go through an realization of the truth, they were honored. They were recognized. They would walk with a bowl as a sign that this is what is going for them, and people were cooking for them and feeding them. So they can stay in that frequency, that they could live and be connected and hold that as much as possible as a light to humanity, as a light to the culture. And the ripple effect of their presence was here to impact. And please breathe and listen to that and recognize it. Recognize that most likely you had at least one past life, if this past life was in another body or in this body, where you were among those people. That this truth is a truth that can be awakened within you. I haven't learned this truth in no books. It is awakened within me, and it is here to be shared with you. That this is what it means, elite. This is what it means, noble frequency, noble energy. This is what it means, royal. this powerful mediumistic force. I want us to claim that state again. Not that place, not the position, but rather the state of consciousness, the state of awareness, the state of connection to source, the state of being awakened to how truth is awakened within you and the ripple effect of it. What we know today as the place where the body of the ancient pharaohs were stored, it's not a graveyard, it's a huge antenna. That was the biggest throne ever created, where those who were chosen to enter those holy place could sit there because they could grasp more. We have another scenario for the way that we are living, but we still have the same mission. And this is for us to claim it, and it is for us to awaken for it, and it is for us to understand what it means, how we are supposed to live when that is the standards of our life. And you start with tapping into the standards of your higher self. Who are we now as the light leaders? What is the ripple effect of holding so much light? How much are you aware of the ripple effect that you have without even saying anything, without even doing anything? Because you decided to dedicate your life to your spiritual practice and to serving as light, to becoming a messenger of light. I was speaking in previous episode about the distance, we can say, between the moment where you have and receive the calling and your awakening and the time that passes through it, and the way that it morphs, the way that it changes. This is a calling to tap again and again and again into whatever insights and awakening and light that rise within you, to tap to it again and again and again and again, for it to start living now, beyond time and space, so you can completely claim your light. So you can completely claim your elite frequency, your noble frequency, your truth, for this lifetime, for this moment, and for lifetimes to come. For this life experience, and for the legacy of humanity. Thank you.
Thank you for listening and being part of this great conversation. You will find all the relevant links in the show notes, as well as a link to a meditation for you to feel more connected to your spirit and aligned with your soul contract. Please, if this episode touched you, leave a review, like, and subscribe. Feel comfortable to share it with your friends, family, and colleagues, because everyone has a calling.